6 figures gone like that. Overnight, well, not quite. I got 3 months notice. I had been working for the company for 25 years, so I should have gotten at least 3 months notice. And I also got a decent severance. But guys, that's gone. Severance is gone, went through unemployment. Nobody wants to hire somebody in their 60s. It's really hard to find a job in your 60s.
Hey, fired over 50. What would you do if you lost it all today or tomorrow? What would you do if you went into work tomorrow and then your boss came in and said, that's it. That's it. Thanks for everything for the last 20, 30 years, 10 years, whatever it is. We don't need you anymore. Thanks for everything you did. If you went into work and you just lost your job, it was all over, and they said, see ya. What would you do? What would you do?
It's 2025, and the new reality is that people in their mid-50s, late 50s are the new unemployables. Like, I am fortunate right now that I have a gig right now, right? But if I lost it, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing and from all the comments I'm getting on my posts, it's like, if you get blown out of your job, if you get laid off, fired, downsized, whatever it is, aged out, which is a very common thing, it's almost impossible to land another job at your current level. You can almost kiss it goodbye. You might be able to, grab part-time gigs or low-level jobs, but nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to hire somebody who's 57, 58, 59, 60 years old for any kind of an important job. They can say ageism is illegal all they want. They can make believe that it's kumbaya and we love everybody and we're all equal. And no, it doesn't work like that. Younger people, first of all, think that older people are not smart. They're not quick enough. Maybe they can't type good with their thumbs, whatever it may be. They don't think that older people are smart or equipped to handle work in the new world. That's just the way it is. They think they're smarter. They want somebody younger who's maybe has more energy, is going to definitely cost less money, and they're going to go that route. They're not going to hire you or me. So have to prepare for this, right? Have to prepare. If it ends today, what do you do? What do? I don't know.
You can give your whole life to a company, decades of loyalty, decades of experience. You show up early, you work late, you train the new hires, and one day they call you into a meeting. And in that 5-minute meeting, your career is gone, replaced by someone half your age and paid half your wage. That's not a fluke. That's not an unfortunate business decision. That's policy, silent, systemic, and protected by a government that pretends to care while cashing corporate checks. Because in America today, experience has become a liability. Welcome to the corporate war on experience.
All right, so I'll give you the lowdown here in just a second. I'm here to pick up my stuff, but a bunch of you asked me to call the company out and do with it what you will. Do not harass the company, but I will let you know the company. There you go. Located in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. All right, so don't harass the employer, okay? But people asked me to call it out, so I'm calling it out just so that should anybody in the Chippewa Falls area want to work for them, just know that don't give a 2-week notice. But with that said, I'm going to do another video because my channel actually is over 1,000 followers now. Thank you very much for all that, and thank you for all the kind words. But I called it out just so that people know. And I'll do another video because now my link in my bio works for my Etsy business, my e-commerce business. And also I added a Cash App just in case somebody wanted to buy me a cup of coffee or something. But I did add that stuff, and I will do another video all about that, but I had to stop and get gas. But you guys asked me to call it out, so I had at least 1,000 or so people, and I had people message me say, hey, I'm from that area. Will you at least let me know who the company is so that I don't, if I do work there, I just know how they operate. The supervisor's a good guy. I talked to him when I was picking up my stuff, and he was real cordial, real polite. The guy's name's Andy. He's a great supervisor to work for. And it just happened that his hands got tied. It made it into upper management, apparently, whatever the problem was. Again, I even asked him what it was, and he wouldn't tell me. So it wasn't his decision. It was somebody else's decision. It went all the way up into upper management, which would be Amanda in HR, and then also Troy. He's the one that's going to be taking over the company, and he's a millennial, and he's a business administration, or has a master's in business administration or whatever. So his way of thinking is completely different than people on the floor. But I just thought I'd share that with you, and I'm going to get some gas, and then I'll do another video here a little bit later to talk about my Etsy link and the Cash App and all that stuff. All right, you guys have a great day. Peace.
A 78-year-old woman was fired from her job of 14 years at a senior living facility. But now that employer has to pay her $78,000 as part of an age and disability discrimination lawsuit. Shirley Noble was fired in February 2022. Just a month after she was honored for being Employee of the Year. According to the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, she had been told she was being let go due to a loss of confidence in her abilities after she was briefly hospitalized. The employer said that they resolved the lawsuit due to the cost of litigating it, and that they do not admit wrongdoing or discriminatory conduct. Read the full story at cbsnews.com.
Welcome back to Hard Basis. I'm Clint Allen, where we say the quiet part out loud. Today, we're tearing the mask off one of the most hypocritical scams in modern America, age discrimination. They say we don't discriminate. They say we value diversity. But try being 55, applying for work, and watch how fast that inclusive system ghosts you. Let's talk about the invisible wall.
I want to tell you guys something I did about this time last year to my resume, and I don't know if it made a difference or not, but I don't think it hurt the scenario. So I woke up one morning and I decided I'm no longer going to have a resume that says 15-year tech sales veteran or nearly 2 decades of experience leading and growing and building sales teams. Because as I had all these interviews, the thing that kept coming up is, man, you've done it all. And you've been around a while. You really know your stuff. And it always led, and if you can guess it, 10 points for you, it always led to, you may be a little over-experienced for what we're looking for. Or you may not be able to make what you probably want to make in this job. And we hadn't even had those conversations yet. I took that stuff off my resume. And I think it's a big part of why I was able to get interviews and opportunities. Because people didn't see the person who'd been doing B2B sales for 17 years. They saw about 8 or 9 years of my background, heavily front-loaded on things that were relevant for the role. And then if I needed to dip into those previous 7 or 8 years that aren't listed on my resume, I could do that during the interview process. But I took that stuff off my resume. I'm no longer a 15-year tech sales veteran when you look at my resume. It's not there anymore because people discriminate on age all the time.
Is age discrimination a real thing in the workplace, or are people doing this to themselves to a degree? Well, I can tell you as somebody that's been in leadership, been a hiring manager for over 20 years, that both are true. First of all, age discrimination in a lot of workplaces is really prevalent because once somebody starts to act like they're at the end of their career, or you see them come in to interview and people are thinking, oh, this guy's really old, this lady's really old, I don't know if they'll have the energy, I don't know if they'll have the drive, the motivation, those types of things. Employers can be put in that situation, can be making a decision based off of that data. Now, is that the right thing to do? I don't know, but I will tell you how I think this can be fixed. I will tell you that I've had older people come in that were very energetic, that were very ready to learn, that asked a lot of questions, that were like ready to learn new things. Those are the people that get hired, young or old. It's the attitude that the person brings into the workplace that can really affect the interview process. So if you're going to interview as an older person, and I don't have much hair left, and all the hair that I have left is white, guys, then I know that when I go into interview someplace, I've got to be on it, I've got to be acting like I want to learn new things, I've got to be ready to go in there and kill it. Now, where people get really tied up is they start to go in and talk about their very long career, all of their experience, all of that. A lot of times it's just a big turnoff to the employer because they're like, great, they have 40 years of doing something a certain way. Are they going to be able to learn anything new to be able to adapt and change in this new market? So I'll tell you, I can say this stuff as an older guy myself, that if you're going to go and start to apply for jobs and you have the appearance of an older person, first of all, don't have anything over 2000. Don't go below the year 2000 on your resume. You don't need to go back that far. And second, stop talking about the past. Talk about the future, talk about the company, ask questions, be willing to act like you're willing to learn, change, do whatever you have to be successful in the new role. And experience only goes so far. Really, they want somebody that's ready to jump in, learn it, and do it. And having that attitude will get you hired. But let me know, do you guys think that age discrimination is a real thing in the workplace? Or do you think that some of it is deserved based on people's attitudes when they come into work or they come into interview?
Let's get this out of the way. Age discrimination is illegal on paper. The Age Discrimination and Employment Act of 1967 was supposed to fix it. But here's the reality. The law has no teeth. Corporations sidestep it with coded language like looking for a dynamic, tech-savvy self-starter. We're seeking a culture fit for our fast-paced environment. We're building a youthful, energetic team. Translation, if you're over 50, don't even apply. According to the AARP, nearly 80% of workers over 50 say they've seen or experienced age discrimination. Have you? Drop it in the comments below. I'd like to hear. In the EEOC, they barely prosecute 2% of complaints. That's 2%. It's a joke and everyone knows it. All right, the same companies that celebrate experience on LinkedIn are the ones handing out severance and packages to anyone over 55. Why? Because the balance sheet says you're too expensive. They don't see a human being. They see a salary, a health insurance cost, and a pension liability. Remember when IBM was caught using code words like dino babies to describe owner employees? That wasn't satire. That was real court evidence. They actually wrote, "We need to make room for the next generation."
Well, apparently IBM has decided to name their ageism targets within the company, and they're calling them dino babies because according to senior executives, they are outdated and extinct. Now, this isn't in my opinion, it's actually in a lawsuit filed against IBM. This also may explain why their current round of layoffs are being so secretive. I put the article up here, you can read into it if you want to. Again, not much of a surprise, but the three takeaways is one, managers are allegedly signing NDAs to keep quiet. Two, it's age targeted. The focus is on experienced workers in high pay grades. Hello, Gen X. And it's AI and outsourcing is where they're going. So the CEO plans to replace 7,800 jobs with AI and shift a lot of roles to India.
You guys, IBM named their ageism targets and they're calling them dino babies. Let's get into it. So this article came out a little while ago, a couple of years ago, when senior executives at IBM referred to older workers as dino babies, and the reason why they refer to them as that is because they are outdated and should be extinct. Ugh. So back in 2018, there was a lawsuit that went around just because of this whole ageism and IBM firing about 20,000 employees over the age of 40, which was 60% of the US job cuts during that time. That led to a class action lawsuit and all of this hoopla around IBM. Well, it looks like they're at it again. IBM just confirmed earlier this week or last week that they are going to be undergoing layoffs as part of their workforce rebalancing. Workforce rebalancing is code for layoffs.
That's not workforce development. That's legalized displacement. Now, you'd think your government would protect you, but Washington doesn't bite the hand that funds their campaigns.
There's this thing that, I could have sworn that they had a solution to this. Could have sworn like Bernie had a solution. Could have sworn that tax dollars could have been used toward this one thing. What was it called? Oh, yeah, universal health care. You want to argue arguments from 10 years ago? This isn't valid right now, okay? We've been arguing about this shit. We've wanted healthcare lobbyists out of politics for a very long fucking time. We've wanted the for-profit system gone. Luigi, okay? Listen, they are taking food out of families' mouths. And the fact that I have to keep beating my own fucking head against this brick wall, it's getting fucking bloody, dude.
Analyzed all of the donations to Trump's inauguration and Golden Ballroom to find out which corporations donated and what they got in return. What we found out will shock you. Trump had the biggest inaugural fund in the history of the United States. $240 million was donated by nearly 800 donors. There are strict rules surrounding political campaign donations, but there are almost no rules regulating inauguration funds. As a result, inauguration funds have become a major tool for corporate interests to buy influence in our government. And these guys sure did buy a lot of influence. Meta donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration. Under Biden, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was investigating Meta for illegally harvesting users' financial data. Then Trump took office and the investigation vanished. In fact, the Trump administration effectively shut down the CFPB entirely. Pilgrim's Pride, one of the top chicken producers in the US, donated $5 million to Trump's inauguration. In March, the USDA moved to allow poultry giants to speed up production, despite serious safety concerns. Delta and United both donated $1 million. And in September, the Trump administration scrapped a Biden-era rule that would have required airlines to compensate stranded passengers. The crypto industry donated more money than any other industry to Trump's inauguration, a whopping $14 million. And they got their money's worth. Since taking office, Donald Trump has disbanded the SEC Crypto Enforcement Unit, established a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and passed an industry-backed crypto bill. Trump's family has also amassed $1.3 billion in wealth from crypto. But that's literally not even all of it. So we created this tool for you to peruse the corruption yourself. You can find it at our website.
Corporate lobbyists have spent over $100 million since 2010 lobbying against stronger worker protections for older Americans. They quietly killed every attempt to give the EEOC more power and the Department of Labor. They fund retraining programs that funnel older workers into part-time jobs, gig work, and dead-end skills classes while bragging about reemployment success rates. It's a shell game. You can't legislate compassion into a system that runs on profit margins. The reality for older workers, you're 58, laid off, and still years away from retirement. You applied to hundreds of jobs, no callbacks. Recruiters glance at your graduation year and quietly toss your resume. Algorithms screen you out because your email domain isn't modern. HR software literally uses age proxies to filter you out. Date ranges, graduation data, even your photo resolution on LinkedIn. You are invisible in a system that preaches inclusion. All right.
Hey guys, I think AI hiring platforms are quietly flagging older candidates, and I think I just lived through it. I'm going to show you exactly how ageism shows up in AI hiring systems and how it hit me personally. So I got approached by a well-funded AI hiring startup. Not once, twice. Director of Engineering roles in SF and NYC, the email said. We have multiple positions that match your background. I did a quick check. It looked like a legit company. So I replied to them and sent them my resume. They replied back, great, just apply through this link. I clicked the link and nothing. Nothing found, 0 jobs, blank page. Okay. So I emailed, hey, your page shows no roles. The guy replies back, super breezy. Oh, we were just trying to do an outreach, but there are no suitable opportunities for you. No suitable opportunities for me. I was Venmo's first engineering manager. I was director of engineering at MongoDB. I've led multiple teams. So what changed? My skills or my birth year? And hey, maybe it's my LinkedIn picture. Should I swap it out? Same face, same skills, just fewer wrinkles. So I replied back to them, why am I not suitable? Can you tell me? They never replied back. And here's the bigger picture. Since I got laid off in May, this reflects exactly what I've been seeing. In the past, whenever this happened, I'd have multiple recruiters lined up with opportunities. This time around, I emailed the 3 recruiters I've worked with most, and their answer? No jobs, no management positions. There's just IC roles. Honestly, I think a lot of this is bad AI at work.
Wall Street Journal is finally reporting on something I've been predicting for months on this app, which is AI speeding up the death of the resume. So in this article, they talk about AI versus AI. Let me just recap for you. Companies, recruiters, hiring managers are now using AI to screen all the applications that are coming in because they're getting hundreds, sometimes thousands of applicants online, and they can't physically screen them all. So how are job seekers retaliating? They're using AI to create custom resumes and applications that exactly fit the job description in order to get through. Here's the problem with that. Companies are now opening up a job posting, getting hundreds of applicants, and then shutting it down really quickly because the AI is saying, wow, look, we got a lot of perfect applicants. Now they go to interview those applicants, and this is where they find out after 2 weeks of interviewing that none of these people are really a match. They gamed the system, and they aren't really the candidates they need. The system is broken. It is imploding on itself. So what's going to happen? I've again been telling you for a while, it's evidence-based hiring next level. So evidence-based hiring means that companies are going to require you to authenticate yourself and really prove that you are who you say you are and can do what you say you can do. Now, if you've done a one-way interview in the last few months, you've experienced evidence-based hiring. This is one of those URLs that comes to you and they say, hey, answer all these questions on video, and then it comes back to them. And then if you hear from them, you get an interview, but if you don't, you get ghosted. The problem with that is it feels really icky. First of all, it's one way, so you have no control over what you get to say or what you get to choose to share. And now your video, goes back and they own that? I don't like that for you. And so there is an alternative that you're going to see very quickly rise because enough job seekers are going to push back on this and say, this asynchronous video thing doesn't feel right. The solution will be for you as a job seeker to take control of that, for you to control the first impression and the messaging. And that's why I've been telling you repeatedly that mobile apps like McCoy are the ones that are going to really skyrocket in this in order for you to be able to authenticate yourselves.
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction here. The resume as we know it is on its last legs, maybe 24 months before it's completely gone, killed by AI. Now there's a bit of a resume hack in the meantime, that what you can do is you can take your resume, load it to ChatGPT or the AI of your choice, copy and paste the job description for whatever you're applying to, and your prompt goes, rewrite my resume to be the perfect fit for this job, and then paste in the job description. The output will give you like a near perfect resume with some of your actual information. But over time, everyone's going to figure this out, and there's going to be too many perfect resumes, and it will no longer be a trustworthy thing. Not that it was the most trustworthy thing in the first place, but resumes are going to become obsolete. So question, what's going to replace them? I'm going to take a guess. I think it could be like short video profiles where people describe their skill set and experience. And that's going to give people a little bit more of an insight to try to discern if they're being honest or if they're faking. And then probably from there, we'll determine if there's enough interest to move forward with an actual interview. But let's hear your thoughts. Do you think I'm wrong? Let's hear.
The modern corporate model doesn't fire older workers. It pushes them out. They use layoffs, restructuring, voluntary separation packages. They move your desk, cut your hours, change your role, drain your morale until you quit by exhaustion. It's not downsizing, it's age cleansing, and it's happening at every level from the factory floor to the tech industry boardroom. Big tech loves to brand itself as innovative, diverse, inclusive, but the average worker age at most major tech firms, mid-30s. If you're 55 and you apply for a job at a tech startup, you might as well attach your AARP card to your resume. They'll smile in the interviews, praise your deep experience, and then tell you they've decided to go in a different direction. The direction is younger, cheaper, and easier to manipulate. Media plays its part too. Don't let it fool you. They call older workers out of touch. They write articles about how to stay relevant as if survival requires apology. They tell you to upskill, reskill, and reinvent. But let's be honest, no matter how many certifications you get, no one's lining up to hire a 60-year-old project manager when they can pay a 28-year-old half the salary. That's not self-improvement. That's victim blaming wrapped in corporate buzzwords.
Can you imagine being recognized as a top employee of the year only to be fired because you got sick and your boss thought you were too old? That is exactly what happened to Shirley Noble. A 78-year-old receptionist was let go from her job after 14 years of service. This happened just 1 month after she was honored as a 2021 Employee of the Year. The day she returned after a brief hospitalization, she found a younger employee at her desk. Her manager questioned her about her future work plans. Even though she expressed a desire to continue working, she was fired the following day due to a supposed loss of confidence in her abilities. How would you feel if this happened to you? Miss Noble did the right thing by contacting the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and filing a claim.
If you are an older worker and you've poured at least 2 to 3 decades into your job and you are ready for retirement, this video is for you. I work with tons of people. I coach a lot of people, and I am seeing an alarming trend. It's so bad. These corporations are waiting till these people, these talented people, give 20 to 30 years of their life to the business, and then right before retirement, they are firing them. They're terminating them. They are putting them on PIPs. They're giving them bad performance reviews. When I meet with some of my clients, I just want to curse, okay? I want to curse and just keep cursing and just get it all out because it's enraging what's happening to people. So what are they doing? What I'm seeing a trend in them being labeled, right? I'm seeing a trend in them being spoken to through emails or whatever, as if they are losing their memories. They're being gaslit as if they're being given directives when they haven't been. And that type of stuff is being put on performance reviews and PIPs. And the purpose of that is they're creating a paper trail to get them out because they're this close to retirement. They get them out, they don't have to pay, right? This is so disturbing. It's so disturbing. So I just want to let you know that just watch out for this behavior and try to protect yourself if you're an older worker. I've seen information where they'd be sent emails or whatever, like, do you remember when I said this to you? Or here's a reminder. Another trend that I am seeing in the PIPs is employees just don't understand the job. I'm like, really? How in the don't they understand the job after 20 and 30 years? Are you serious? You don't keep somebody around that long that does not understand the job, right? So we know right there that's a targeting. Also, in every project, as a project manager, in every project, everyone on the project is encouraged to ask questions about the project for clarification. Keep the feedback loops open, and you have to inquire just to make sure to see if any requirements have changed or what have you, or the scope of the project has changed, if scope creep exists. I'm seeing with the older employees that when they ask a question, it's being flipped on them as if they are incompetent.
All right, the human cost, behind every statistic is a story. The 59-year-old who lost his pension in a merger, the 62-year-old who is delivering groceries just to keep the lights on, the 55-year-old woman turned away from job after job because her experience intimidates the team. This isn't about laziness. It's about dignity and the deliberate stripping of it. It's about a country that worships youth and discards wisdom, where the system benefits and who profits. Corporations save billions in labor costs. Government saves on pensions by keeping people working longer. Insurance companies profit from the stress-induced health decline of those stuck in limbo. It's a perfectly engineered cycle, and you're the fuel that keeps it running. What can you do? Document everything. If you suspect age discrimination, keep records, emails, job postings, conversations. Age bias is subtle, but documentation gives it weight. Apply directly, not through filters. Avoid algorithmic systems. When possible, contact hiring managers directly or network through personal referrals. Use the power of visibility. Post your experience publicly. LinkedIn articles, community groups, even YouTube stories. When you stop being silent, you stop being invisible. And support pro-worker legislation. Contact your representatives and demand stronger enforcement of the Age Discrimination and Employment Act. Lastly, refuse to internalize their narrative. You are not obsolete. You are the backbone of once made America work honest. All right, here's my final thought. They tell you to fade quietly into retirement, to be grateful for the scraps, to stop making noise. But let me tell you something. Silence is how they win. You built this country, you ran the factories, built the bridges, coded the systems, and taught the next generation. And now they dare to call you irrelevant. Not a chance. You are not obsolete. You are evidence that the system fears those that still remember what integrity looked like. So don't apologize for being seasoned, strong, and still standing, because the truth is they can't replace what they can't become. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Hard Basis. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please take a moment and do so. It would really help. Until next time, folks, let's rise together.
Subscribe, like, share, follow, comment fast to the point news and information daily here on Hard Basis.